Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I actually just got home from my hairdresser. I just got a bit of a touch up. So if I happen to have some white patches around my hairline from missing foundation, I'm sorry. Please don't tease me in the comments box. I did try to fix it up, but I feel like anytime I've done anything after the salon, I always notice like that little bit of a white patch. And for some reason, I've come home and I just felt really inspired to film this video, so I thought I may as well sit down and do it. I haven't really written any notes, which usually for something like this, I would take some notes down, but here we go. We're here. We're just going to wing it. So in today's video, I wanted to give you guys my best tips for how to become a makeup artist. I feel like I don't really talk about this all that much, but I'm sure a lot of you guys will know that I've actually been a makeup artist for 11 years now. I think it's 11 years. And I've actually cut back a lot on doing makeup clients in more recent times just because my focus has changed. But basically for my entire career, I worked in the fashion industry in Sydney. So I worked on a lot of magazine shoots, which is called editorial. I did a lot of advertising for brands. I did a few TV commercials, although funnily enough, the video side of things was not what I was into back then, which is so funny considering I love making videos now. But I didn't really enjoy working on TV commercials as much. I was definitely more of a photography girl. I loved the images. I loved seeing my images in magazines. I also worked on fashion shows. I've directed a couple as well as worked on the team of countless shows. So I really was completely immersed in the fashion world. If you're a makeup artist watching this and you'd prefer to focus on bridal work, then that's amazing, and hopefully you'll still take some tips away from this. Even if you're wanting to do TV or film or fashion like I did, hopefully you will still take away some tips from this video. So my first piece of advice might sound a little bit strange, but don't stress about having a makeup certificate. I'm just going to say that this may not apply in all areas of makeup, because particularly if you're working for someone else, they may want to see a certificate, and maybe in certain cases for getting insurance you may need a certificate. However, I have worked for all of these 11 years of my makeup career without a single makeup certificate to my name. Particularly in the fashion industry, I'm sure even if you're doing bridal, people just want to see the work that you do and they're going to book you on that work. I've never, in fact, I think once I was asked if I had a makeup certificate and I was just like, no. And they still booked me anyway because at the end of the day, they really liked my work, and that is what matters. Your work shines through above everything else. I do think that completing a course at a TAFE or a college or something similar definitely is valuable for learning and growing as an artist, and maybe learning techniques that you hadn't learnt before, or learning about new products. I definitely think that there is a benefit to doing a course like that, but at the same time, if you feel like doing someone's makeup comes really naturally to you, then you may not need to do a course. It really just might be something that you can just practice and, you know, really hone in on your technique, and you might be able to have a really amazing career just doing it that way. There are so many other ways to learn other than going and doing a course. You can obviously watch YouTube videos, you can read books, you can just look at a makeup and try and wing it and learn from your mistakes or your successes. You can do what I did, which is contact your favorite makeup artist and ask if you can do some private lessons with them. You would obviously have to probably pay them for it, but it's so worth it, particularly if you know that you love their makeup style. There are just so many other ways to learn than doing a full proper course. So if you don't need that certificate, there's a few other ways that you can get around learning. So I really feel like this comes down to where you personally think you're at, whether you feel like you need to do a course, whether you don't feel like you need to do a course. I think that's really a personal decision for you to make, and also keep in mind the industry that you want to be working in and whether you need a certificate or whether you can just wing it like I did. Secondly, I would suggest you get as much experience in the makeup industry as possible. For me, I assisted an amazing makeup artist named Ray Morris for the first 4 years of my makeup career. All of my makeup training came down to about 4 lessons privately that I did with Ray, and then the rest was all assisting. So I assisted Ray for about 4 years until I was 19. And then I also assisted another makeup artist who's amazing named Jodie Oliver. I didn't assist her full time or for as long as what I assisted Ray for, but I definitely got some really amazing experience with her and Angie Barton, who's another amazing makeup artist. So I kind of had a few people that I went along and assisted at jobs, and as I got older I obviously got more responsibility in those jobs. When I first started with Ray, I was cleaning brushes, and by the time I finished assisting I was working on fashion shows, and I was doing full makeups for advertising campaigns under another makeup artist direction. But yeah, I got a lot more responsibility as time went on. Assisting was hands down the single best thing I ever could have done for my makeup career. I think it advanced me so much. So I started assisting when I was 15, so I was quite young, and people would always say to me all throughout my teenage years, they would say things like, you know, don't expect to be working until you're in your mid-20s, maybe even 25, and don't expect to be making any money. People really aren't going to be taking you seriously at this age. That actually gave me the kick up the butt that I needed to prove them wrong. If someone says to me, you can't do something, I'm like, watch me. So I ended up being represented by an agency at the age of 19 and working on jobs as a makeup artist at the age of 19. I was shooting for magazines, I was working with brands, I was doing really exciting things, and the relationships that I had formed throughout my years of assisting really came and pulled through for me. And I ended up getting a lot of work with one photographer in particular who I had known since I was 15. He really pulled through with the goods for me, and he must have loved my work because he ended up putting me in a lot of photo shoots, and now a lot of my portfolio has been shot by him, and I love it. So I guess the point of that story was that assisting really makes you a hard worker. It makes you understand what you do and don't want to be as an artist. It kind of helps you to develop your style a little bit, because you can kind of say like, oh, I would have done that differently to that person, or yeah, I really like the way they've done that. But you actually form really amazing relationships with people that may end up helping you in the long run. And that actually brings me to another tip, which is never be rude, never be stuck up, never be too good for anyone, and never underestimate anyone, because everybody starts somewhere. So there could be a little intern at a shoot, and maybe you think that you're in a higher up position than them. That doesn't matter. Your position on that shoot doesn't matter. The fact is you're all there to create a beautiful image. No matter if you're the one getting coffees, cleaning brushes, doing the makeup, shooting it, you're all there for the same reason. And that little intern over there could one day be the editor of Vogue. You never know where someone's going to end up. So always be a genuine, grounded, lovely human being to be around, because you never know when being rude may come back to bite you. That may sound like a silly tip, but it's super relevant, and the amount of people that I have watched go from being interns to now being fashion editors, even just in my 10 years, imagine how much that changes over time. So I just think it's always good to just be a really decent human being and know that no matter what your position on a shoot is or on a job, you're all there for one reason, and that is a beautiful result. Also, if you're looking at assisting, don't expect to be making money from it, particularly if you're in the very beginning stages of your career. For the first 4 years, I got paid twice in 4 years, 2 times. So I always had part-time jobs to support my assisting. When you get a bit more advanced, and if you're assisting and actually doing makeup on jobs, then you definitely might start to get budget. But if you're in the fashion industry, not a lot of budget gets handed out. So don't assist thinking that that's your big money maker, because it definitely won't be. If you want me to do a separate video on more in-depth tips on assisting and things like that, then please let me know and I'd be happy to do that. But I also have a Q&A with Ray Morris, who I assisted, and that also gives some pretty good tips in there too, so I'll link that down below. I think assisting another makeup artist is a great idea at any age. I mean, maybe not if you're really young, but I think it's a really great thing to do at any age, to refresh your love of makeup, to learn new things, to get re-inspired. and I definitely think it can't hurt, even if you're in advanced stages of your career. My next piece of advice is really helpful, particularly for anyone wanting to get into the fashion industry, and that is to do lots and lots of test shoots. Test shoots are basically where the whole team comes together, photographer, stylist, model, hair and makeup, all come together for free to create beautiful images. The point of test shoots is to really have an opportunity to show people what your makeup style is. When you're working with a client, you are obviously given a brief to stick to, and often this doesn't reflect your own personal style and what you love to do with makeup. So it's really important that you do these test shoots to show the world what you love, what you think you're best at, and what style you really think your makeup is. Basically, all of my favorite images have been from test shoots because I really get to showcase what I love and what I really think is appropriate for that particular shoot, and it's just a really good way of expressing yourself. So I love some of the test shoots that I've done, and I might even show you guys some on the screen. So definitely do as many test shoots as you can, and this applies all throughout your career, particularly in the beginning, because you might not be actually working and you might need those test shoots to even show someone what you can do to get clients. But testing all throughout your career is so important because it really brings you back to what your style is and what you love about makeup. You often get booked for the style that you do the most. So for me, it was like bronze, dewy, glowy skin all the time. So I can probably count on one hand how many times I got to play with glitter in my career, for example. So I really took the opportunity in my test shoots to play with glitter because I would never get that opportunity on a job. Just for an example. My next tip is that signing with an agency can be super duper helpful, but not really necessary to build a really good career. I did have an agent at a young age, which obviously helped me a lot. But if you're a super proactive person, then by no means feel that you have to have a makeup agent, because you can just approach fashion editors and beauty editors and clients. You can do the research yourself and approach them yourself and still have really good results. Another tip is to have somewhere to display your work. So back in the Disney, when I first started doing makeup, we had these physical portfolios. They were so beautiful, they were so expensive. We used to fly them in from New York, and they were beautiful leather-bound books, and they were just magical. I'm still obsessed with mine, even though it's severely outdated now. Obviously these days it's a lot easier because you can put your makeup work online and it can cost you basically nothing. Or nothing if you decide to put it on Instagram. Having a portfolio is so important. If you don't have one already, the first thing you need to do when you stop watching this video is go and put together a portfolio. Obviously you need some images in the portfolio, so if you don't have images, get onto the test shoot thing I was talking about, but then build a portfolio. If you don't have the money to create one online, then put it on Instagram, make a Facebook page, do anything you can to showcase your beautiful work. Now that I'm not represented by an agent as a makeup artist, I think it's really important to showcase the very best of my work and to make sure that that's really available online so that everyone can see it really easily. Having a beautiful portfolio is what you take to clients if you want to have a meeting, if you want to say like, hey, I'd love you to employ me as a makeup artist. That is what you need, and a great attitude to get your foot in the door and to really start getting some amazing work. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to just give some advice for anyone wanting to be a makeup artist out there because I do get a lot of questions about it. So I figured I should just make a video so that it's all on there for you. If you do have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment box below and I will get back to you with my answers. Or if you'd like to see a follow-up video on this, maybe some more in-depth tips or how to build a portfolio or anything like that, you guys let me know what you want to see and I'll get onto it for you. I have also been filming my What's in My Professional Makeup Kit series, which is basically the lowdown on the products and the tools I use in my makeup kit. So I really hope you've been enjoying that. I think I've uploaded 3 videos for that series so far, so I've still got a lot more to go because there is a lot of product that goes into my makeup kit. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.